From the Evolution of Chaos release, that is Heathen with Stoned Unturned, a very Metallica-ish style song.
Good stuff, man. I have to say that is the best Metallica record that's been released in the last 20 years.
It has, absolutely.
That album is fucking great.
It is. It's a great disc.
Yep. But they just kind of went away after it came out, too.
Yeah, well, didn't get a lot of traction, I guess.
I can't imagine why. The only thing I think of is nobody heard it.
Well, yeah, of course, because, again, it's exposure.
Yeah, it's too bad, too, because, my God, that record, Evolution of Chaos, is so great. And Heathen is great. Their old records were great, too. They're just one of those bands that slipped through the cracks. People missed them time and time again. Not sure why. I love them.
All right. Well, keeping with the theme of the show, sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Okay.
We got some drug-related stories.
All right. Going to wrap it up with some drugs.
Some drugs.
Okay.
So let's go with the less harsher story.
Okay.
And then we'll get into the little more in-depth story.
All right. Sounds good.
A young father who was restrained, face down, and pepper sprayed by police died by misadventure after a plastic bag containing drugs became stuck in his airway.
All right.
Adair DaCosta, 25, died almost a week after the car he was traveling in was pulled over by a plainclothes police officer. He had put about 88 wraps containing cocaine and heroin in his mouth at some point before or after getting out of the car.
Okay.
The 11-member jury had been told by the senior colonel or coroner, Nadia, whatever, before beginning their deliberations that there was no legal or factual basis for reaching a conclusion which was critical of the police in light of all the evidence presented to the inquest.
Okay.
DaCosta, who had a number of convictions, including burglary and theft and possession of cocaine, was being restrained in the prone position when a 20 to 30 wraps were observed on the ground near his mouth. He became unresponsive and was eventually placed in a recovery position after the armed officers arrived on the scene and paramedics removed a plastic bag containing wraps of drugs from his airway, the inquest said.
So some of the coke got loose and he overdosed.
No, he more or less choked on the bag.
Well, he choked on the bag. All right.
Yeah, they had to pull the bag out of his airway.
Oh, well, then I think the police are guilty somehow.
Yeah, of course. The jury acknowledged that the ambulance service was initially been given the wrong address by the police, but decided the delay had not contributed to the outcome.
Okay.
An expert witness had earlier told the inquest that police exercised excessive force and failed to give him the first aid quickly enough.
Yeah, because they should know that his throat is full of fucking bags of coke.
Right. Well, a friend who was with him at the time said DaCosta had continued to be held even as he appeared to be having a fit.
Okay.
His father said that it's been extremely traumatic to listen to some of the evidence presented at the inquest, but the questions remained over the circumstances of his son's death.
Yeah, but you know what should be traumatic to the dad? What his kid was doing with 80 fucking packages of coke. That should be somewhat traumatic too.
No, we got to overlook that.
Do we just overlook the bad behavior because of the bad outcome?
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. You just overlook the bad behavior. Dude, it's just like the body shaming thing. You don't point that out.
Sorry, I apologize, and I'll never do it again, and I hope I didn't offend any drug dealers with my comments. You know, drug dealers are people too, and they really shouldn't be besmirched by my horrendous judgment there.
Right.
Please forgive me.
We cannot help but wonder whether a deer would still be here had the police identified the risk of a deer choking earlier and taken steps to help him.
Mm-hmm.
The head of the civil liberties at Hodge, Jones and Allen told the law firm representing the family, said officers should be taught not to assume that a person is resisting arrest when there is risk that they are struggling because their breathing has been restricted.
Jesus Christ. When are they allowed to fucking actually bust somebody?
Yeah, you're not allowed to.
I mean, my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah. He wasn't struggling. He just couldn't breathe.
He was choking by something he did to himself.
Yeah, you should have known that. You should have recognized the signs.
Yeah. Gee. Sorry, I have to admit, I don't have a lot of sympathy for the drug dealer dying.
Yeah, sorry he swallowed a plastic baggie with 30 wraps of cocaine in it.
Is that the picture of him?
Let me take a look here.
If that is, that's going to make me crazy.
Yeah, that is him.
So the newspaper, of course, goes and finds the innocent picture of him with his kid.
Well, of course, he was a big, gentle giant. Yeah. He didn't grab the officer's gun.
He was a dealer. He was spreading poison to anybody that would buy it. Stop this nonsense. Oh, my God.
Call a spade a spade. And I don't mean that in a racial way.
Hey, let's. I have to step away from that comment, Neely.
But that's where we're at in the society. Years ago, when I was, younger, as were you,
mm-hmm.
we used to call people for what they were.
Yeah.
But now we're not allowed to do that since Oprah was popular.
Yeah, of course, and Obama.
Yeah.
Because if you call them what you're thinking, that would be racist. Neely.
Right. Now let's sit down and have a beer summit.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You, Elizabeth Warren.
She added that there were serious issues around the correct information being passed from the police control room to the ambulance services.
Mm-hmm.
Jurors in the inquest returned their findings, concluded by a majority verdict on Thursday that the court deliberations after hearing, which lasted almost 5 weeks, Mr. DaCosta died from the consequences of cardiorespiratory arrest suffered when his upper airway became obstructed by placing a plastic bag containing drugs, mm-hmm. which he placed in his mouth, they said.
Yeah, how about this? He was dealing drugs.
Yeah.
He put the drugs, instead of complying when he was arrested and just saying, okay, you got me, here's the drugs. He tried to hide them. It cost him his life.
Exactly.
Sorry. Sucks. It sucks for the family. No one wants to have their kid fucking die. No matter what, no matter if their kid's a scumbag or not, nobody wants their kid to fucking die. But your kid did it to himself. It's not the cop's fault. Guess what? The cops didn't fucking put those drugs in his fucking mouth. If the cops stuck it in his mouth and jammed it down with their fucking baton, now you might have a thing. But I guarantee you, he had this baggie of drugs. He fucking got stopped. He tried to stick it in his mouth, thinking he could hide it from the cops.
Right, of course.
They had him get out of the car. He fucking started choking on it, and he fucking ran out of breath and died.
Right.
And these cops aren't EMTs. They're fucking cops. They don't know. They don't even know if he's faking that to do something else. In this world today, fuck. Are you gonna put your gun away and say, "Oh, let me check on him"? Or are you gonna stay guns drawn?
What's the matter? Do you have a plastic bag in your throat? What's going on here?
Yeah, how did they not check for that at a roadside stop or whatever? Jesus Christ.
Known to family and friends as Edson, he had been traveling in a car along with 2 other men when they were pulled over by 5 plainclothes police officers at about 10 p.m. Earlier in the inquest, police had linked him with a gang selling heroin and crack cocaine. DaCosta, who was born in Portugal, had moved with his family to London age 5 and worked as a car trader, died in Newman University Hospital on June 21st after a period of intensive care.